Hey, what's going on, Black people? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and it is today is Friday, January 10th, 2020. And I want to say that I hope you guys are having a great day and a good morning. And I'm going to give you guys time to come into the chat while I look up some more details on the story we're going to cover today. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. He's been condemned to die in prison because he allegedly touched a white woman's boob, and that's a crime that's far worse than killing a black man or doing something horrible. And so at any rate, Cosby has been fighting for his life. I guess they consider him to be a bigger threat than all the, pedophiles in Hollywood and the Catholic Church and all these other people running around here free who've done terrible things to people. Oprah's friends, Oprah's little buddies, the Epsteins and the Weinsteins and the Frankensteins and the Steinsteins. And so Cosby's been he's been standing up to these people. I have to give him props on that. Bill Cosby is not a punk. He is not a punk. And I actually have a lot of admiration for him for that. I'm very proud of him for, sticking to his guns, and not folding. And it's been real interesting, real sad to watch. It's real sad to watch an 82-year-old man, who's half blind, get treated like he is public enemy number one, like he's gonna come out here and murder a whole bunch of people. I mean, if you want to know why our criminal justice system is screwed up, it's because of things like this. And I'm actually going to break some of this down for you. But before I begin, I want to say good morning to Ronaldo and Beatrice and Empowered Living. Shout out what city that you're from. Let me know what city you're coming from. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you hit the thumbs up button, that brings more people into the chat. As you guys know, we're trying to create and build Black media so that Black media can be can give us a voice. We're trying to make sure that our narrative gets out there as much as their narrative, because their narrative tends to be the one that ends up dominating. And I personally think we should abandon a white racist media and start focusing on Black media. That's my appeal to you. That's what I hope you guys will consider doing with me today and tomorrow and forever, because I don't watch TV anymore. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. I watch like Netflix and stuff like that, but I do not watch stuff like CNN and MSNBC and all that crap. Every now and then I might grab something, a story online, but I don't watch any of that crap. I see Omaha, Nebraska, Jersey City, Temecula, California, Seattle for Martha, St. Louis for Deborah, St. Louis. Mike Roberts is in St. Louis. Mike Roberts, we went to Ghana together. Mike Roberts, he's a Black billionaire. He was actually on this platform. Maybe he's close to a billionaire. I don't know. When you get more than a couple $100 million, I figure it don't matter how much money you have. He's been there. And they need to release Cosby and put Weinstein in. Johannesburg, South Africa. We're actually opening an office in Johannesburg. Nomalanga Mushali Moses is going to run that space for us. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Okay. Chris Walters says gay Boston. Okay. I don't know what that means exactly, but okay, cool. Maybe that's a section of, I don't know. Brooklyn, New York, Eric. Okay, we're going to be doing the All Black National Convention in Brooklyn in October. So that's going to be at Medgar Evers College. We're actually talking to them right now and reviewing the space, making sure it's a fit. Let me see here. Somebody said I enjoyed listening to you. I like listening to you. Well, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that very much. Well, I appreciate you listening. I'm glad you're here, brother. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to drboycetv.com. Let's get it cracking. Let's get started today. All right, so Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is in court. Give me a yes or no if you knew that Bill Cosby was filing, I guess, the next stage of his appeal. Give me a yes or no if you were aware of that. Yeah, so Cosby is filing the next stage of his appeal. He did that actually Thursday, which was yesterday. And according to CBS, he filed the appeal, or he filed an appeal Thursday of a court decision last month that upheld his conviction for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman at his home. The latest appeal, filed with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, which does not have to take the case, focuses on 4 key issues, including the judge's decision to let 5 other accusers testify and send Cosby to trial, despite what he called a binding agreement with an earlier prosecutor that he would not be charged in the case. I want to stick with that point for a second. I'm not a lawyer here, but I'm going to just tell you, give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Do you think that, remember, were you aware, just so you know, were you aware that when Cosby, Andrea Constand, the lady who accused him of drugging her and touching a boob, even though there's no physical evidence that he did that, are you aware that they made an agreement before, after he paid her $3.2 million or something. Are you aware that they made an agreement? They promised him in writing, in a legal document, that this case would not be brought up for prosecution anymore. Are you aware of that? Did you guys know that? Give me a yes or no if you were aware that they actually said in the court of law that we will not prosecute this, that we are signed here on this binding legal agreement, right? That we are not going to come back and deal with this anymore. Did you know this? Well, that issue right there kills the whole conversation to me. That right there tells you about the bias and the niggatry happening here. I mean, this is what tells you about the special. See, they got the regular justice system, then they got the special court to the side that they save for black people. He's in Negro court because that right there to me, that confused the shit out of me. I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer. I know lawyers, attorney Nicole Compton. You know, she's like my consigliere. We talk about legal issues, and she helps me get stuff done. But I'd love to get her take on this. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, maybe in Kangaroo Negro court, they are allowed to break rules, bend rules. I mean, seriously, if one of you goes to court and you swear under oath, or you sign a contract saying that something is true, and you're lying, or you break that commitment, you're going to get penalized. You're going to be held in contempt of court. You're going to get accused of perjury. You might go to jail. But I was flabbergasted. I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but I was actually stunned. I was like, wait a minute. You mean he signed a binding agreement that you were not going to bring this issue back? But yet, despite the binding agreement saying you were not going to bring this issue back, you brought this issue back right after this white woman. This is white privilege, y'all. I'm sorry. This is white privilege. After this lady literally got $3 million because she alleged that he touched her titty. Now, I'm not trying to say anybody should run around here grabbing boobs. I'm not trying to say you should do that. And, you know, I only have a license to grab one pair of boobs, and I'm not going to even talk about it too much, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm getting married, so that gives me a license to grab things if I feel compelled to do so in a respectful way, of course. But so I'm not trying to say that boob grabbing is okay. What I am saying, though, is that it does actually reflect a degree of white privilege, that there are people in this country, particularly those who are connected to the whole MeToo thing. You know, remember, MeToo is connected to white privilege. It's white female privilege. It's what it is. And this privilege basically says that we are so precious, we're so valuable, we're worth trillions of dollars, to the point that if you even touch us, if you're even accused of touching us, not only should you die in prison, but you should give us millions of dollars, because how dare you have the audacity to touch anything on my body. Now, I've been touched on my body before, sometimes against my will. Sometimes I've been touched in certain ways or whatever. And I've been like, get your hands off me, don't touch me. But I never even thought that I ever even had the right to go out and say, you got to pay me $3 million because you touched me. You know, you remember Black Wall Street got burned down because a black man was accused of touching a white female. Did y'all know that was why Black Wall Street got burned down? Hundreds of people lost all their property. Tons of people got killed on all of this, right? Billions of dollars in black wealth was destroyed because a white female said, he touched me, right? So this is part of a tradition. This is not, you know, they didn't come up with this yesterday. This is not, you know, justice. This is Negro justice. This is, if Bill Cosby were not black, I don't think it would be happening this way. That's just my truth that I'm reflecting to you guys. Now, let me move on. And by the way, I want to mention the sponsor of this podcast. It's United Units Assemble and Service. The website is unitedunits.info. They assemble, they construct and maintain bicycles, grills, furniture, and offer other concepts such as building stands for various items. So if you want to find out more about this black business, which I hope that you will, please go to unitedunits.info. And support that black business. And if you want to be a sponsor of one of the podcasts, just send an email to producer@flynubianmedia.com or manager@boycewatkins.com. If you email manager@boycewatkins.com, it'll get to Michelle that way too. So anyway, let me keep going. All right. So here's there's more to this. There's more to this interesting case in terms of Bill Cosby. So let me read more here. There's more little bones to pick here. So Cosby, who's 82, is serving a 10-year prison term at a maximum security state prison in Pennsylvania. If you're 82 years old and they give you a 10-year sentence, they're giving you the death penalty. Let's just be clear. they're pretty much giving you the death penalty. The odds of making it up to 92 are not that high. His lawyers called the 2004 encounter consensual, but a jury found otherwise in 2018, convicting him on all 3 felony counts in the first celebrity trial of the MeToo era. The appeal was filed as jury selection gets underway this week in the case that launched the national movement of people coming forward with accounts of sexual assault or harassment. Movie mogul Harvey Weinstein has been charged in New York. Blah, blah, blah. Cosby had been a mentor to the accuser, Andrea Constand, whose allegations formed the basis of the case against him. Andrea Constand was at the time on the staff of the women's basketball team at Temple University. In the filing, Cosby's lawyers said the ruling upheld by the state superior court last month would have, quote, far-reaching consequences for all future criminal proceedings, including those that proceed outside the national spotlight. I do agree. What I do not agree with is that I do not think that they care. I do not believe that they care. I think, again, this is Negro court. This is black justice. This is not justice that's done for other people. This is how you're treated if you are black. Let me read some of this. I'm going to read Cosby's guy, his publicist, Andrew Wyatt, who reached out to us not too long ago. He put up a statement today on Cosby's Facebook page, and it says, today, Mr. Cosby's legal team filed a petition in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania asking the High Court to review his case, to consider the vital, important questions about the impact of Me Too hysteria on the bedrock principles of our criminal justice system. So he's citing the Me Too movement. The lower court stripped Mr. Cosby of his most sacred constitutional guarantees of due process and the presumption of innocence when they permitted the jury to hear and base its verdict on decades-old unproven allegations of multiple women. Okay, so let me write this down. I'm literally taking notes because I want to ask you guys questions. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. All right. I'm gonna ask you guys some. I take notes and when I'm thinking through things. All right. So let's see here. The trial's overriding concern should have been to ensure a fair proceeding on the single charge offense for which Mr. Cosby was standing trial, not to provide a platform to any and all accusers who belatedly wanted their day in court. We are hopeful that the state Supreme Court will recognize the longstanding implications of allowing the court of public opinion to override our cherished constitutional principles and act to rectify this injustice. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys a series of yes or no questions. You guys know I like to get to the bottom of things with simple questions, with simple answers that help us understand more complex issues. Okay. First question I want to ask you is this. Yes or no? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no on this. Everybody answer, please. Do you believe that the court of public opinion had a say in the Bill Cosby conviction? Do you believe that public opinion was a driving factor in the decision to convict Bill Cosby? Or do you believe that the court acted in a vacuum on its own, independent of, 10 million screaming white women who were upset about various things? Like, do you believe the court of public opinion had an impact? Hannah says no. Okay. Shut Up Ho says yeah. Oh, Shut Up Ho. That's a funny name. Okay. I see a lot of yeses from Eve and Belladonna and Jennifer and Lauren, Eddie, Corey. Okay. Isaiah. All right. Okay. So we all agree because we're going to be the court. We are the Supreme Court right now. You can call us the Supreme. So Supreme Court, it looks like the yeses have it. So I'm going to put a check yes next to that question. Okay. Second question I'd like to ask you is this: yes or no? Give me a yes or no on this. The court, the legal system says that you're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. No, right? You're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. Do you believe that there was a presumption of innocence in Bill Cosby's case? Do you believe that they presumed he was innocent until proven guilty? Or do you believe that he was guilty unless proven innocent? What do you think? Give me a yes or no. Okay, do you believe he was okay? So I see a lot of no's. Okay, so it looks like the no's are winning. Okay, so he was not presumed innocent. He was actually presumed guilty. Okay, all right. So that's the answer to that question. All right. Okay. Next question I'd like to ask you is this. The Me Too movement was just taking off, right, when Cosby was convicted. I don't know if you guys remember that. The Me Too movement was just taking off. And at that time, in the beginning, even I was a supporter of the fact that, there are people who deserve justice who aren't getting it. Even I was totally fine with the idea of going out and dealing with some of the issues that exist, particularly in the Black community, right? You know, back in 2002, 2003, I remember screaming at the top of my lungs about R. Kelly and saying, why are you all buying this guy's music? Look, I think he's doing these things to little girls, and nobody wanted to listen. Well, years later, you were getting justice, and I actually supported that for a while until it started getting a little bit chaotic, until they got to the point where they started basically making people guilty until proven innocent, until they started basically going out and allowing an accusation to be the same as a conviction. And so I want to ask you guys this question. Do you believe that there was a connection between the emergence of the Me Too movement and the outcome of the Bill Cosby trial? Do you think the Me Too frenzy, as they called it, impacted the outcome of his trial? Do you believe the Me Too movement had something to do with Cosby's conviction? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. Everybody answer yes or no. I'm looking. Okay. I see. Okay. Provoke thoughts. Miss Fat. Okay. Forever a King. All right. Miss Carter. All right. And also I see there's a troll that keeps coming in there. And Amanda Sharpley, she says, Oxy man, step off a 5,000 feet mountain. Amanda, I'm gonna make you a moderator. So if you see Oxy man come back in here, you chop his head off. Okay, you chop his head off and throw him off that cliff for me. Okay, you get rid of him. You have been deputized, sister. I don't know you, but I know you now, and I love you, and I appreciate you. So when you see him come back, you send that motherfucker back to hell. Okay, so please do that for me. Thank you to the rest of you who are moderators. All right, so it looks like the yes is okay. All right, so we've asked 3 key questions. 1, did the court of public opinion have an impact on the trial? We all agree that it did. 2, was there a presumption of innocence? No, there was not. That's a violation of one of the most sacred, most fundamental tenets of the criminal justice system, that you are innocent till proven guilty. That is not true here, nor has it really hardly ever been true for the Black man in the history of this country. And then 3, the Me Too movement, which was basically an overreaction. It was a justice overreaction that led to, a lot of people being hurt. It led to people using the frenzy as a cloak to allow them to settle any vendetta they had with anybody, even if it wasn't valid. And so we know no matter whether you think Cosby is a good guy or a bad guy. Remember, you don't have to believe he's completely innocent to agree that this trial was a sham. Right. This ain't about, did Cosby ever do anything wrong, or did he not do anything wrong? That's a whole nother conversation. Right. Which actually leads to its own discussion about, why all these incidents supposedly happened and there were no police reports filed. Many of these so-called accusers were chasing him down for many, many years. I don't know anybody who chases down their alleged rapist for 20 years, asking for free concert tickets or college tuition or offering to go get back into bed with him. I don't know. I just don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. And so, but of course, we have people that are accountophobic. I was saying accountability phobic, but I actually would like to call it accountophobic. That's the term I like to use when people start saying, oh, you're homophobic, or oh, you're fatophobic. Because remember, we talked about Lizzo and people are like, oh, you're fatophobic. And I'm like, well, no, you're accountability phobic. How about that? I'm not scared of fat people. Phobia means you're afraid of something. I have no fear of fat people. I have no fear of gay people. I have no fear of any of that stuff. But you are afraid of accountability. You are fearful that if the questions get asked, if they ask the hard questions, you won't have an answer for that. Even pay attention now. Listen. Lisa Bloom, who's the daughter of Gloria Allred. Gloria Allred's kind of like the white female Al Sharpton on the Me Too movement. She makes her millions of dollars basically accusing men of various things, even if because she's smart enough to know that even if there's no proof, people will pay you $1 million just to make the accusation go away. So people are not paying for crimes in most cases. In many cases, they're paying to make an accusation go away, because an accusation creates a stain. And that's a weapon that's being used in a predatory fashion to take down people and to settle vendettas, right? So you get a crackhead who is, who's a part-time hooker who needs some money for some more drugs. And they say, oh, there's a powerful man. I slept with him. I'm going to accuse him of something, and I know that I'm going to get paid just to make the accusation go away. That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, stop getting mad at me for telling you the truth. Don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. If you can't disprove me, then you need to shut the fuck up. Seriously. If you can't disprove me, then be quiet. So Lisa Bloom, Gloria Allred's daughter, who also was taught to chase checks. Like there you go. That's a good term to use. A check chaser. Listen to this. Pay attention now. Lisa Bloom, who's Gloria Allred's daughter, who also has made a lot of money from the Me Too movement. Did you know? Give me a yes or no if you knew this. Did you know that she went to Harvey Weinstein and offered to represent Harvey Weinstein? Did y'all know that? Give me a yes or no if you knew that. She offered to represent Harvey Weinstein, and she sent them a damning memo that you can find right now. The New York Times, God bless them for this, they actually published it. She sent him a damning memo where she basically said, look, most of these women, if you start asking them hard questions, they gonna fold because a lot of their stories don't hold a lot of water. If you go and you really start drilling into their backgrounds, you're gonna find some shit that will help you in your case. Now think about this. This is a lady who is the Me Too movement champion. Women's rights, women, you know the whole like women's live movement, all like she's the champion for women, and she goes to Harvey Weinstein and says, look, pay me $900 an hour, and I'm gonna make all this shit go away because I know this the difference between the real shit and the bullshit, and a lot of this is bullshit. I can chop a lot of women down because a lot of them, their stories do not hold water. So that right there tells you that this ain't nothing but a game. It doesn't mean that inappropriate things aren't happening. It doesn't mean that somebody says, can you post the article? I'll find it. If you Google it, all you gotta do is look up Lisa Bloom and Harvey Weinstein, and you will find a ton of references to this. Give me 1 second here. Sorry. If you go and you check, and look for Lisa Bloom's name and look up Lisa Bloom and Harvey Weinstein together, you'll find, or memo, Lisa Bloom, Harvey Weinstein memo. You can read the memo. You can read the story yourself. Don't believe me. Go read the New York Times. If you don't believe me, go believe them. If you need white people to validate something, then go read what they wrote. Some people don't believe black people because everybody thinks black men are liars and criminals, right? So anyway, let me keep going. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. And also, if you'd like to learn more about wealth and stuff like that, you guys know we have the Black Business School because we believe Black economic power is the key to the future. So if you'd like to get started, learn how to invest in the stock market and all this other stuff, go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. And also, I want to make sure I give a shout out to our sponsor for this podcast. And I always end up losing my file that's in front of me. Hit the thumbs up button while I find this because I want to make sure that I give props to the company that's sponsoring the podcast, because we're helping to build these Black businesses and we want to support them and they support us, and so we want to make it sort of a two-way street. Anyway, so let me keep going. All right, so in the Cosby trial, what they're basically saying, which I agree with, is that it was the Me Too frenzy that really led to the conviction. The Me Too movement. First of all, I'm gonna say I don't think the Me Too movement's all bad in terms of what the intention was. I've listened to Tarana Burke, who started the Me Too movement. I've heard her speak, and I believe she really had good intentions. I really do. I think that what Tarana did not understand and what she underestimated is that there are bad people who will use your good intentions to pursue a malevolent agenda, who will pursue an agenda that is harmful to other people, who will use that the sword that you created for protection and use that as a weapon to assault other people in a predatory fashion. So effectively, that's what's happened. And what's happened also is that it's undermined, it's actually harmed the credibility of the Me Too movement. In a way, it's kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of the ADOS movement. The ADOS movement started, it was a good idea. People were like, yeah, I'm ADOS and American descendants of slaves, let's go get those reparations. And basically what eventually happened was, they started getting so crazy with it. They started swinging their power around and hitting people upside the head with it, that people started to really question that. They lost a lot of credibility. They lost an opportunity. So I think that you've got to kind of, sort of think about this in terms of looking at the dangers of unchecked power. Sometimes people are not mature enough to manage the power that they have, and they use it in a way where ultimately the costs outweigh the benefits. Now, the company I wanted to mention is unitedunits.info. Unitedunits.info. That's their website. They are a company that provides a service to construct, maintain bicycles, grills, furniture, and offer other concepts such as building stands for various items. The company employs 4 people. Their goal is to hire motivated team members or team players. In order to accomplish that goal, our company seeks additional employment. Our company concepts meets a basic household shopper or any consumer who needs an extra hand to put an item together. Okay. So basically they help you put stuff together if you need help putting things together. So just go give them a shout out, go give them some support, show them some love. It's unitedunits.info. So thank you for sponsoring. If you'd like to be a sponsor, just email manager@boycewatkins.com and she can allow your company to sponsor the podcast. All right. So let me just read the last piece of this thing here, and then we're going to bounce out. So in the filing, Cosby's lawyers said the rulings upheld by the state superior court last month would have far-reaching consequences for all future criminal proceedings, including those that proceed outside the national spotlight. They include the judge's decision to let jurors hear portions of Cosby's deposition testimony. That's another one. That's another one where we can get them on this. Listen to this. In a related civil suit Constant filed. In the deposition, Cosby acknowledged giving Constant 3 pills before the sexual encounter and spoke of giving Quaaludes in the 1970s to another accuser before engaging in sex with her. Now, that was an interesting point. This is not one where I'm sitting here saying Bill Cosby never made mistakes. I think he did. I really do. But here, this is about justice. This is about the fact that trials must be fair. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but they asked him, they said, have you ever given a woman drugs in order to have sex or something like that? Right? Anybody remember that when they asked him that question? Have you ever, given a woman drugs to have sex? Now, Ronnie Cromer makes an excellent point. He says, Doc, he admitted giving her a Mickey. That ain't consensual. But is it not? Can it never be consensual? Now, here's my point. Here's what I'm asking. I'm not trying to say you should be slipping nothing in nobody's drink. I'm just telling. In fact, I would tell you all, be really careful about who you sleep with and be careful about using drugs. I just say no to drugs. I don't even drink. But pay attention. Some of those women that Cosby slept with were drug addicts. Back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of people used drugs. And so I'm not saying that any of us knows what happened as far as the drugs go. But you're going to tell me that there was not any of those situations where those women actually asked for the drugs? Drug addicts ask for drugs. Drug addicts are happy when you offer them drugs. So remember in that statement where they asked him, they said, have you ever given a woman drugs with the intention of having sex? They didn't say involuntarily giving them drugs against their will. They just said, have you ever given women drugs? He probably has. I guess they were all using the Quaaludes and all this other stuff. And there are lots of people who say, yeah, back in the 60s and 70s, we all took Quaaludes. Right. So I'm not trying to say that we know what happened. That's not the point. I don't even have to say that. I don't have to prove that I know what happened because that's not how the justice system works. The justice system doesn't require you to be able to show that you know what happened. The justice system only requires you to be able to prove that nobody knows what happened. If you prove nobody knows what happened, then the person should be allowed to go free because the burden of proof is on the accuser. The burden of proof is not on the accused. The burden of proof is not on the person who is being accused of something. Like if I go in and I go to Ronnie and I say, Ronnie, you stole money from me last month. And somebody, it would be unfair for somebody to say, Ronnie, have you ever taken money from Dr. Boyce Watkins? And Ronnie says, well, yes. But they didn't ask, did you ever take money from him against his will? Because I might have paid Ronnie. Ronnie could have been my employee, right? So if I paid Ronnie money to do a job and they say, Ronnie, have you ever taken money from Dr. Boyce Watkins? And he says, well, yeah. And he's thinking, yeah, he gave me a paycheck. He paid me for doing a job, right? And somebody says, aha, we caught you. You admitted in the court of law that you took money from Dr. Boyce Watkins. What kind of bullshit is that? What kind of BS is that? I want you to think about this. This is why this platform's only for intelligent Black people. Any intelligent person immediately saw the flaw in the logic of that question. They didn't ask, have you ever involuntarily given women drugs for the purposes of having sex? And I don't know if he's ever done this. I don't know. I'm just saying they don't know either. And also, I bet you that if they'd asked the question properly, I'm willing to guess Cosby would have said no, right? What he's probably saying is, yeah, we got high together. A lot of these, Janice Dickerson. Have y'all ever seen Janice Dickerson? She's one of the accusers. Janice Dickerson is the most cracked out looking white woman you ever seen in your life. That lady was like 45 looking like she was 80. I'm serious. Have y'all ever seen Janice Dickerson? Give me a yes or no if you've seen Janice Dickerson. Whew. Lord have mercy. I had to go back in the 40 years to find the time where she was actually an attractive person. She used to be some supermodel or something. I'm telling you, you got to stay off from drugs, man, because them drugs will mess you up. That lady is a mess, a wreck. I mean, her face is all like, you know, but that was one of the accusers. Now, I'm not trying to say Cosby is an angel. I don't know if he was an angel or not. I'm just trying to say that when a crime happens, a police report is filed. When a crime happens and somebody gets accused, evidence has to be presented. Those are the rules that they made up. I didn't make up those rules. That's the way it's supposed to be. And a black man is the only man who can be convicted and sent to die in prison, convicted to death, basically, when there is no evidence. That right there should be enough to send off alarm bells. This is not a defense of Cosby in the sense of trying to say he's a wonderful, perfect human being. I don't believe that he was. I don't believe that he was. But I don't even have to prove that he was a good guy in order to make this point. I hope you get what I'm saying. Again, and smart people understand what I'm saying. If you're just emotionally tied to an outcome, then you're not going to get it, because everything I'm saying is going to piss you off, because logic pisses off people who are purely emotional. They don't like logic, right? Just like Lisa Bloom said. Some of these women are hysterical and emotional. And she talked about one particular lady, Rose McGowan or something. She said she's hysterical. And basically, if you just present her, lay some logic on her, she's going to get more hysterical. And that's going to make her look even crazier, right? So anyway, I think Cosby, I feel, let's do a last vote for the black court. We can call ourselves the black court. I don't have a gavel like Vicky Dillon. Vicky Dillon is the best. Vicky, you should go check out her show. It's on flynubianqueentv.com. It's 6:30 every day. In the black court, last vote. I propose that Bill Cosby has paid his debt to society. He's paid millions of dollars. He's 80-something years old. He had to be around, hardened criminals, which is very scary. It's even scary for a young man to be in prison. I can't imagine being 82 years old in prison and away from your family, expected to die there. I believe Cosby has paid his debt to society and he should be allowed to come home. Yes or no? Do you agree with me? Do you agree that it's time to go ahead? If we had the power, it'd be time to let Cosby go ahead and come home, come back to the community. I don't think he's going to hurt nobody. Just, we ain't gonna let now, mind you, if he offers to bring you to his house alone and mentor you and offers you a drink, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I will probably tell you don't do that. But I do think that the good outweighs the bad. I think that the man he's mentoring those inmates in a wonderful way. I think that he's either a bad person who's done some good things, or he's a good person who's done some bad things, one or the other. But either way, I don't want to see the man die in prison, especially because he is accused of touching a lady's titty and he already paid $3 million and there's no evidence. I just don't think that's a reason for a person to die in prison. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, so it looks like, all right, so look, let me check. All right, so we all voted yes. All right, so Black Court is out of session. Okay, I'm hammering my gavel, Vicky. You see that? I'm hammering my gavel because Vicky inspires the hell out of me. Her show was so good. You all have to watch that. Anyway, I'm going to go. Do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Also, share this video, subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And also check out the Black Financial Channel. That's a financial channel we created for those who are interested in financial topics, daily financial news and commentary from a Black perspective. So if you're trying to grow yourself economically, the Black Financial Channel is a good place to go and to talk about news and all this other stuff that's going on in the financial world. So it's theblackfinancialchannel.com, THE, that's theblackfinancialchannel.com. And also one more thank you to our sponsor, United Units Assemble and Service, which is unitedunits.info. And if you want to go check out their website, I hope you will. Just go there and say hi, see what they're doing, unitedunits.info. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, just email manager@boycewatkins.com, and Michelle can get you started as a sponsor if that's something you'd like to do to boost your own company. All right, guys, have a good day. Love you, and I will see you soon. Take care. Peace.